Hi there, thanks for joining me again and welcome back to the channel. Now today we're going to look at side 2 of Never Forever by Kate Bush. We've done side 1. Today we're going to work our way through side 2. Now it starts off with a particularly interesting track called The Wedding List, and it's basically inspired by Francois Truffaut's film called The Bride Wore Black. And it's all about a groom who was accidentally murdered on the day of his wedding by a group of 5 people who shoot at him from a window. And the bride succeeds in tracking them down, each and every one of the 5, and kills them in a row, including the last one who happens to be in jail. Very interesting, dramatic song, beautifully sung by Kate. Let's have a listen to it now.
Put him on the wedding list.
Now, The Wedding List. What a violent song. Kate herself described it as a song about a powerful force of revenge. You're betting, no kidding there, Kate. An unhealthy energy which in this song proves to be a killer. The lyrics leave you in no doubt of exactly what the song's about. No, I'll never give the hunt up and I won't muck it up. Somehow this was it, I knew, maybe fate wants you dead too. We've come together in the very same room, and I'm coming for you. Did you think I'd ever let you get away with it, huh? He swooned in a warm maroon. There's gas in your barrel, and I'm flooded with doom. You've made a wake of our honeymoon, and I'm coming for you. Okay. All of the headlines said passion crime, newlyweds, groom shot dead, mystery man, God help the bride. She's a widow, all in red, with his red still wet, she said. I'll put him on the wedding list, I'll put him on the wedding list, I'll get him and I will not miss. It then carries on. Now as I'm coming for you, all I see is Rudy. I die with him again and again, and I feel good in my revenge. I'm going to fill your head with lead and I'm coming for you. And when this is all over, you'll roll over the butt of my gun, one in your belly and one for Rudy. You got what you gave by the heel of my booty. Bang, bang out like an old cheruti, and I'm coming for you. All of the headlines said passion crime, newlyweds, groom shot dead, mystery man, God help the bride. She's a widow all in red with his red still wet, she said. I'll put him on the wedding list, I'll put him on the wedding list, and I will not miss. Then we have that sort of singy bit in the background where she's singing. After she shot the guy, she committed suicide. I'm coming, Rudy. And later when they analysed, they found a little one inside. I'm coming, coming, honey. It must have been Rudy's child. I shot him. Never mind, she's got the guy. He hit the ground, Rudy. An eye for an eye, ashes to ashes, eye for an eye, Rudy. So that last bit, the revenge is achieved, but at what cost? Because sadly she was already pregnant and carrying her husband's child, and the fact that she killed herself as well made it just a sort of treble tragedy. Absolutely brilliant song that one is, and as I say, no messing around there. That is a cracking opener to the second side. Let's move on. So the next track on side 2 is called Violin. Now this is a celebration of players of the fiddle. And Kate said about it in September 1980. She said, violin is for all the mad fiddlers from Paganini to old Nick himself. It's quite a punk rock sounding track. There's plenty of action to it. There's plenty of notes going all over the show. We've got Kate's vocals hysterically singing again, and it's a fabulous track, and let's get straight into it.
Streams across the bridge, ready to carry me over. Let me have all the supers. Violin.
What a great track that was. Absolutely brilliant. The electric guitar solo was done by somebody called Alan Murphy. It's a crazy, crazy song and so much fun and typical of what Kate was capable of doing and writing and performing about. Very, very fun. Four strings across the bridge, ready to carry me over the quavers, drunk in the bars, out of the realm of the orchestra, out of the realm of the orchestra, filling me up with the shivers, filling me up with the shivers and quivers, filling me up with the shivers. Get the bow going, let it scream to me, violin, violin, violin. Get the bow going, let it scream to me, violin, violin, violin. Paganini up on the chimney, Lord of the Dance, with Nero and old Nicky, whack that devil into my fiddlestick. Give me the banshees for beevies, give me the banshees for beevies. Is that a reference to Susie and the Banshees? I'm not quite sure though. Somebody help me out in the comments. Jigging along with the fiddle-o-dee, Johnny. Jigging along with the fiddle-dee-dee. Jigging along with the fiddle-o, Johnny. Jigging along with the fiddle-dee-dee-dee-dee. Get the bow going, let it scream to me. Violin, violin, violin. Get the bow going, let it scream to me. Violin, violin, violin. And then it's repeated once again. Absolutely crazy track. Love that one. So over the top, so OTT, but just Kate Bush. Absolutely brilliant. Let's move on to the next track. Next up is quite a chilling song, really, called The Infant Kiss. Let's listen to it.
I say good night, night. All my barriers are going.
You've actually got the beauty of the music in the song, the delicacy this time in Kate Bush's voice, which she can do so readily. She's able to change vocal intonation from soft to serene to severe to angry, all within the blink of an eyelid. Very adept at changing the tone within the voice. And this one is very much the softer side of it. Now, on the face of it, it does seem as if it's perhaps a song and a set of lyrics where perhaps we shouldn't be going, but as ever with Kate Bush, it's never really quite that simple. When writing the song, it was inspired by a gothic horror movie called The Innocents, and I've not seen that particular film, and that itself was inspired by the Henry James novel The Turn of the Screw. Now, this is a story about a governess who believes the ghost of her predecessor's dead lover is trying to possess the bodies of the children she's looking after. So it's all about this governess's feelings that her children are possessed, and from there this song sort of pans out. Kate said, it's about a governess. She is torn between the love of an adult man and a child who are within the same body. Makes it a very interesting song indeed. Say goodnight, night. I took him in tight, but things are not right. What is this? An infant kiss that sends my body tingling. I've never fallen for a little boy before. No self-control. Just a kid and just at school back home they'd call me dirty. His little hand is on my heart. He's got me where it hurts me. Knock, knock, who's there in this baby? You know how to work me. So there's very much a direct question there. Knock, knock, who's there in this baby? So she's probably coming to terms with the fact that this possession is happening, and one that she's slowly becoming aware of. Lyrics continue. All my barriers are going, it's starting to show. Let go, let go, let go. I cannot sit and let something happen I'll regret. Who he scares me. There's a man behind those eyes. I catch him when I'm bending. Oh, how he frightens me. When they whisper privately, don't let go. Windy waily blows me. Words of caress on their lips that speak of adult love. I want to smack, but I hold back. I only want to touch. But I must stay and find a way to stop before it gets too much. All my barriers are going. It's starting to show. Let go, let go, let go. Don't let go. Very interesting. Very interesting. Very cleverly written. And the subterfuge within that makes it perfectly acceptable. Let's move on. But that was a great track. Next track is called Night Scented Stock. It's an instrumental, and it's an instrumental made up of all of Kate's vocals that are layered within the song. Very ethereal, very magical, and we'll play the song right away. How beautiful is that? Simple sounds built up and layered to make what is a gorgeous and heavenly track. Very delicious just to listen to. There's no complications there. It's just a very easy listen and really, really nice. But once again, it demonstrates Kate's experimentations that she was doing with the music within this time, and it certainly came off very, very well. We're straight into the next track now, which is Army Dreamers.
Oh, a little Lammy boy is coming home from BFP, but he didn't have the money for a guitar. What a waste, Army dreamer.
Musically, Irish accent excluded. You get the feel of this light jig, Irish mother singing about her son. The music's light. To say jaunty, to say there's a jig is probably unfair, but that's how it came across, and it does feel as if it is very much in that spirit. But where it isn't in that spirit is the fact that it's addressing some of the issues of people being lost in the war. Now, there's a lot of military sound effects and noises within there. Drill sergeants drilling and screaming at their charges, putting them through the paces. And really, it was written about the effects of war, and really, Kate is playing the part of this mother who's grieving for a young adult son who's sadly been killed while out performing military manoeuvres. And saddened with this unnecessary death, she's wrestling with a guilt over what she could have done to prevent it, and that really is the essence of what that song is about. The bottom line is if you called up for duty, there is very little you can do. The only chance of getting out of it in those days was a medical exemption. Other than that, you were in and you took your chance. And sadly, like so many people, this particular chap, this particular young man didn't come back, and it's the song about his mother grieving for him. Interestingly enough, the song was blacklisted by the BBC in 1991 because of the Gulf War. It was one of a fair few that was banned at the time. The BBC, in their wisdom, believing that it was perhaps inappropriate to have a song of that nature. To the last track now, called Breathing.
Outside, oh, but this time it's much safer in. Breathe out, in, out, in.
So the album ends here on a particular solemn note. When we think back to the times in 1980, the world was still living under the threat of this possible nuclear war that may happen at any point between America and Russia. And life for many of us within those times, and I certainly lived through this threat, was all about how big and how many nuclear weapons each of the sides could amass. Bearing in mind that essentially one well-aimed bomb from either side could essentially knock out each of their opponents. And it was a very sombre subject. There was a number of people that wrote songs about it at the time, and this was Kate's version of it. As ever, Kate, in her inimitable style, looked at the issue from a slightly different angle and wrote the song very much about a fetus that was aware of what was going on outside the womb and frightened by this nuclear fallout. The lyrics also would refer to the unborn baby absorbing nicotine from her mother's smoking, and it was something that she had a strong passion about. She'd seen a documentary on the subject, and it had really inspired her. And it was also, she drew reference from The Wall by Pink Floyd. In the video that was released as part of the single, she was in a womb portraying the fetus. And she did actually perform it quite a number of times. And it's just a very, very powerful song to have made. What is interesting is the description in the lyrics of what would happen should a nuclear bomb be deployed. I'll quote from the lyrics. In point of fact, it is possible to tell the difference between a small nuclear explosion and a large one by a very simple method. The calling card on the nuclear bomb is the blinding flash that is far more dazzling than any light on Earth, brighter even than the sun itself, and it is by the duration of this flash that we're able to determine the size of the weapon. After the flash, a fireball can be seen to rise, sucking up under it the debris, dust and living things around the area of the explosion, and as this ascends, it soon becomes that recognisable and familiar shape of a mushroom cloud. As a demonstration of the flash during test, let's try and count the number of seconds for the flash emitted by a very small bomb, then a more substantial medium-sized bomb, and finally one of our very powerful high-yield bombs. So that was the spoken word towards the end of that song. It was lightly delivered, but so chilling as to the immense power that one of these bombs going off could have had on the world. A very strong end to not only side 2 but to the whole of the album, and quite literally goes out on a bang. Excuse the pun, but I can't think of any other ways to describe it. It's an amazing piece of music. It really is, and one that's, each time I've listened to it, I've sat there in some sort of stunned silence as to think of some of the ramifications that could have happened should it ever have been deployed. We've come close over the years. Probably not as big a threat nowadays in the 2020s as it was in the 1980s, but boy, it doesn't bear thinking about. Breathing ends off side 2, it ends off the album, and what a journey it is through this marvellous album by Kate Bush. A whole range of songs, styles, subjects that we've been treated to throughout the realms of this album, and one that I've thoroughly enjoyed and hopefully you guys have as well. As with all things, you can leave your comments for me to have a look at, and I will answer them and respond to them and come back to you just as soon as I can, as quickly as I can. But what a powerful, powerful end to the album. If you missed the first side analysis, the first side review, then I'll leave a link to it up here so that you can click on and have a listen to my thoughts on the first side. Thanks for your company today.